It's your girl, Natasha, and I am super excited today. First up, because we are in Trinidad and Tobago. It is nice and hot. I'm loving the sunshine. We're in the Caribbean, and I'm joined by none other than international recording artist, OMI. Hi, OMI.
Hey, what's up? How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. As you mentioned, we're in Trinidad and it's just beautiful outside, man. Yeah.
Indeed. So, can we touch a little bit on your performance last night at Marshall Monday?
Man, yeah, we can. That was, man, I was excited. I was so excited to do it, and I was even more excited after I did it. So it's leaving with a good taste in the mouth, really.
Is this your first performance in Trinidad?
Yes, it is my first performance in Trinidad. First time in Trinidad. Yeah, you're right, for real. First time in Trinidad, and I'm very happy to be here. Very, very happy to be here, man.
Okay, now I want to touch a lot, on Hula Hoop, which is my favorite song. I love that song. Firstly, how did you come up with the concept Hula Hoop?
Well, I think it was through the collaborations of Jensen Vaughn, who is a Canadian producer, the label, my management team. Basically, we wanted a follow-up song to Cheerleader because Cheerleader was such a phenomenon last year and it did so well, and I think we needed to transition into something before the album. So that is how that song really came about. We still wanted to keep the essence, of what people knew OMI for. Not necessarily doing another Cheerleader, but something to that effect. And I think, that's how that really came about.
But do you feel a lot of pressure because, as you said, Cheerleader's huge. You were on X Factor. You were on pretty much everywhere. Like literally seen you everywhere.
Yeah.
I actually got the opportunity to see you on X Factor, but I'm like, Cheerleader's huge. It still plays every single where I went to Paris the other day, and I'm like, oh, Cheerleader, and I was totally acting like we were friends in my head, and I'm like, oh, it's Omi, it's Cheerleader. So did you feel a lot of pressure coming from Cheerleader to come up with an album that's just as good or better?
The thing about it is, I've always been an artist that tries to stay a step ahead of myself. I've always been putting in the work, and just because I really love the studio. So I've always been putting in the work, and I think I have too much of an amazing team to worry about these things. You have people who knows what they're doing. First of all, my manager, he's great. He has produced so many of the giants and greats, from my country. So, I trust that he knows what he's doing. He knows the timing when to put out something, when not to put out something, and basically what will work in the market, and for right now, what will work later. So I never worry about these things. My duty as an artist is just to be creative and continue to create the product, because without a product, there's nothing to market. So yeah.
Now, for me, it sounds a little bit corny, maybe a little cliche even, but not to butter her up, but I love playing that song for my mom because I always tell her that she's my cheerleader. My mom knows your song word for word, and then gets on WhatsApp, which is crazy, and then talks to her friends. Oh, that's my song. My daughter plays that for me all the time. It's from Omi. I'm like, you don't even know who that is, Mom.
Well, you know what? First of all, my mom, she uses WhatsApp now, and she thinks she's so hip.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's crazy, but I'm very proud of her, by the way.
Me too. It takes a while to get
It takes
a
a while.
message.
Yeah, and sometimes the spell, you get mixed up with the
I know. I
the
get
buttons,
the same
but
thing.
oh man. But I think that it's a song that connects with so many people, and it's good. Different age groups as well. There's the baby singing it, there's the teenager singing it, and there's the older teenagers singing it. You know what I mean? So I think it's like a song that connects with people on a universal level, really.
You are so right about that because my family, I come from a very diverse background. So we have the Venezuelan, we have the West Indian, we have all different types of cultures. And then I have my uncle, everybody has a crazy uncle who likes no one. And then he goes, yeah, that boy that can sing, he can sing. I was like, can he sing? No, he can sing. He can sing. So when you get stuff like that from the older generation, from the elders, how does that make you feel?
You know what? It's a good feeling because they know when they hear somebody who can sing, because we're so digital right now, what I mean? There's such an easier way there's always an easier way to do things now, so people, people the technical people behind music, a lot of us, we don't stick to the traditional way of creating music and the harder way, which is harder. We oftentimes rely on the studio equipment to make a sound good, So when you get that compliment from somebody who knows where we're coming from musically and creatively, that's good. It's an honor.
Now, I, again, don't, I relate to your music a lot with my family, which is a little bit strange for us, I should say, because we don't get a lot of time to spend together because I'm always in a different part of the world. But my mom and I, like, my mom listens to your music, which still baffles me. And then she's texting me and WhatsApping me, oh, did you hear Me For You? I'm like, did you hear Me For You? Just to have that connection with my mom, even though I'm not at home with her all the time. What about the connection with your family? You're literally traveling all over the world all the time. When do you get to spend time with your family?
Well, you know what? I think, in December, we really took some time off, because that's like my favorite holiday. Christmas is my favorite holiday. So we took some time off, and I got the time to spend it with my family. I have a sister who is living here, so I saw her, when I came here since this week. But I really took the time out to spend some time with my brother, my other sister, and my mom, in the holiday. And it was a very good vibe, It's good to be Omar as opposed to being OMI, and the cameras and the light and the fame and popularity or whatever, It's good to just be Omar, chilling back at home, take out the garbage and, do some housework.
They make you do it too.
Trust me, you understand? They don't fool around, but I
My mom was
appreciate
like,
that.
oh, you're not behind the camera. The dog, clean it up.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.
Me too. I mean, I love to give her flack about it, but I love it because I don't always get it. So when I do get it, I really love it. And I loved being home and cooking. And so, like, what are your hobbies? What do you do when you're not, when Omi's not on stage?
When I'm not on stage, I'm also an artist, so I paint.
Are you really?
I draw and I paint portraits. Yes.
No.
Yeah. And I'm very big on the human figure. I love to do the human figure.
Really?
I still think we're one of God's best creations.
Agreed.
So I do love to
Not
do.
just because I'm in the gym.
Yeah, I like to do the human figure, and I like to play the piano. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Hidden talents.
yeah.
So what else do you do? Like adventurous stuff? Do you rock climb, bungee jump, skydive?
All right. So when I go to different places, right, I try to kind of partake in the culture so that I'm not boring. I'm not a boring person, so that is the only time I really get to dabble in these things. Now, I don't get up and say, okay, this weekend I'm going to do this. I will go to a different region and somebody would say, you know what? This is an exciting attraction. You should try this. And I will say, all right, I'll try it. If I die, it's your fault. All right? But separate and apart from that, I don't just get up and say, okay, this weekend I'm going bungee jumping or this weekend I'm going hang gliding or whatever. No. You do. You look like you have a lot of stuff mixed up right here.
I do. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's fun.
Bad, it's just a little adventurous.
I am
And
very adventurous. But the funny thing is, when you're doing skydiving, they make you do a video before you actually jump. So I think I'm at like my 17th jump right now. And you have to do a video for your family.
disclaimer.
Pretty much a disclaimer, and then you say bye to everyone in your family, and this is your last will and testament. After I think my fourth or fifth time, my mom was like, don't ever send that to me again.
So I don't know what part of that has fun in it. I'm listening for the fun. It's supposed to be a fun activity.
Plummeting to your almost impending death. That's fun. Doesn't sound like fun, no? No, not really.
No, it doesn't. No, really, I don't know.
You know what? There's a sense of freedom when you're falling, and then your parachute opens. If
Yeah.
it doesn't, you have a backup.
You know what? I guess so. I guess there is really, and I guess there is a little thrill, a little rush. We always get a little thrill and a little rush doing some things we shouldn't be doing. And I think that is kind of the ultimate, though. I don't think. Plus, I'm afraid of heights.
Are you really?
I'm afraid of heights, but guess what? I think I overcame that because last we went to Dubai, And yeah, we went to Dubai in January, and I actually did the what's the tower? What's the name of that famous tower? Um,
Look at us, we're both getting brain freeze right now.
uh,
I know which one you're talking about though. But the majority of my time in Dubai I spent at Atlantis, which was
but I did the
amazing.
zip lining thing
Did
where
you?
yeah,
I
where
didn't
you
see. I
flew
didn't do that.
across
I
the.
ziplined in Costa Rica.
All right, so I did the zip lining, but it was the one that you were seated in,
Yeah.
and then somebody, I guess the rep that was with me, she got one that they called a Superman. So that yeah, so that one has you like this, actually flying instead of seated in. And I was like, can I do the one she has? They're like, oh no, we only have one of that, so you're gonna have to just take the one you're seated in. But I would love to have, did the Superman.
Was that your first time ziplining?
It was my first time ziplining, and it's probably my last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the music because I'm totally enjoying talking about everything else. But let's go back to the music for a second. Let's talk a little bit about Me for You.
Yes.
The entire title, everything, Me for You. Maybe I'm wrong, but I took that as OMI for everyone. I mean, was that the whole concept behind Me for You?
Concept behind it, and it was also a title track on the album. It was also a song on the album, so it was a very organic kind of title, you know what I mean? And being that it's my first album, it felt like a gift, really, from me to my fans, because after Cheerleader, everybody was looking forward to what would come next, and what more was there to own me as an artist and as a person.
And how proud are you being a lot of West Indians, quote unquote, can totally, and they do relate to you because it doesn't matter that you're Jamaican, whether it's Trinidadian, Haitian, Venezuelan, Grenadian, everybody relates to you because they're like, oh, he's West Indian. So we love him because he's from the West Indies. How do you feel about that?
I feel very proud to be a representation of this, you know what I mean? And it's good because this is the records that the song in particular has made last year. It has skipped a lot of generations, you know what I mean? So it's like being the person, and if it was not me and if it was somebody else, I would be just as happy. And that's the honest truth from my heart. I really mean that. I'm not trying to get love, you know what I mean? That's just how I feel. If it wasn't me and it was somebody else, I would be just as happy, and it's good to know that we still got it and we still can do it, and I hope there's a lot more who's going to do it.
When did you know growing up that it transitioned from Omar to Omi? When did you know? When did that snap come?
I guess the transition for me personally only happens when I'm supposed to be on stage and be a performer or be fulfilling my duties and obligation as an artist, because you have to know how to turn that off, and you have to know how to separate that. So when I'm home, as I mentioned before, we just started talking. You have to know when to be Omar and when to be Omi. You know what I mean? The day you start getting those two mixed up, you're gonna be in trouble. You know? Yeah.
So when you were back home and you were a kid, you were running around playing in school
In my underwear.
in his underwear. When did you know, hey, I can sing?
I guess it's when other people started appreciating it. And to this day, if I do something, it is when other people start appreciating it, then I feel the real value of it. You know what I mean? Yes. And it's not like I don't have confidence in what I do or my work or worth. But if nobody appreciates it and you're just doing it for yourself, then ugh, it's just, it's not the same thing.
So now, weird, insane, crazy questions. Favorite color?
I really like red. Yeah, I really like red. Um, I really like blue. And I really like earthy colors. I really like things that are very earthy.
Spoken like a true artist.
Yeah, so I love earthy colors. I love red, I love blue, and I love earthy colors. But I really do think I'm too old to have a favorite color now. Like, do you have pink walls?
No,
Okay.
I like red.
You like red. All right.
a lot.
No problem, you know.
So, favorite food?
Oh, I love kidney beans, rice and peas. Do you like do rice and peas? Do we have that in our West Indian culture, or is that just a Jamaican?
No, it's
Is that a
no. It's in West Indian culture, but I have to say the best rice and peas I had was at the side of the street in Kingston.
You know what? The other day, where was I coming from? I think Montego Bay, and I said to my tour manager Errol that, look, I feel like I want some real hardcore Jamaican cooked food. I don't want to go to no fancy restaurant. I want to go to one of them corner shop with the old zinc, one of them place there where one of them pop down place there. You know, that's what I felt. That's what I wanted. You know, I wanted that real, authentic Jamaican cook rice and peas and chicken. You know, and he knows exactly what I was talking about. You know, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like to do it in a fancy that's the only place you could go to get that. You know.
Agreed. Because in the fancy restaurants, I didn't get that. I got American food, and that's not what I wanted. And at the side of the street, oh my God, it was the first time I had ackee and saltfish. It is the best thing in the world. I need to learn how to cook. I cannot make that. I need to learn how to cook that.
Is it a
It's the
case
best
where
thing in
you
the world.
don't know how to cook, period, or you don't know how to cook that?
I can cook. I can throw down in the kitchen. Next time Omi comes to New York, I'm going to invite him to my house, and I'm cooking for him. I'm going to throw down for him Spanish and West Indian food.
All right, so this is one of the disclaimer videos we were talking about. She invited me to her house, people, so it's not burglary. I'm not breaking in.
And I'm going to throw down in the kitchen. So, Omi, I know you have tons of other things to do while you're here. Are you actually going to be staying for Carnival Monday and Tuesday?
Yes, I'm definitely going to be here. You know, I have so many people inviting me to this event. You know, I can't possibly say no. You know, I don't want to ruin the relationship. So, yes, I definitely want to see what all the fuss is about. And, you know, just enjoy myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your girl Natasha. We've been sitting down with Omi. He is the sweetest guy ever, ladies. OMG. And Omi, if I may, before you go, can you give us a little bit for Me For You?
Yes. Oh, wow. Do you want the song Me For You? Or just, that's the song? All right.
Or your choice.
Even if we didn't have no money, all the world went upside down. What if we were millionaires? It's always gonna be me for you, for me.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to faint right now. Thanks, Omi. It was such a pleasure. I hope I get to see you Carnival Monday and Tuesday.
Of course, definitely.
Yay! We'll see if Omi can throw down.